What is up, everybody? I'm Goku, and I'm bringing you guys the next part of what if Goku and Vegeta were sent to Beerus' world. Now, of course, in the previous part, I explained the entire backstory for what happened to both Goku and Vegeta as well. With both of them, of course, trying to Beerus' planet by being sent by Bardock because he did not actually put the coordinates to Earth, but instead he would just put some random coordinates, which he did not realize were the coordinates for Beerus' world. Eventually, them to both actually be there, and eventually train under Whis so they can entertain Beerus of becoming the Super Saiyan gods. And of course, thanks to Whis' help, they both were able to get incredibly strong and powerful, even able to defeat the likes of Piccolo, who trained so hard that was able to reach a power level surpassing that of his previous self, like 10,000. So yeah. With this, of course, Goku and Vegeta continued training even after marrying to their wives and eventually leaving back to Beerus' world. Since Beerus' world kind of makes it their home, since they have lived for as long as they knew each other. So yeah. Of course, Goku and Vegeta would have sparred again, sparring as they continue to increase their powers and immensely. Goku and Vegeta have already grasped a mastery over Super Saiyan God thanks to constant years of training with Whis. But eventually, something would happen. Eventually, Goku and Vegeta would actually been alerted by Whis that a Saiyan is actually alright on Earth, being Goku's brother. Of course, Goku would actually be surprised that his brother is actually still alive. Remember, in this timeline, Goku did not hit his head, so he's very notable that he has a brother, a mother, and a father. So yeah. He also remembers his Saiyan name and goes by the name Goku because he actually prefers that name instead of his original name Kakarot. But he allows Kings and Saiyans to call him that if he ever meets anyone, except Vegeta, of course, who can actually say it anytime he wants. So yeah. Eventually, both of them would eventually meet Raz, but Vegeta actually be pretty surprised that Raz's power was increased immensely. He remembers that Raz was at least around, when he was really young, was around the levels of 800 at least. But now, as he sees now Raz, he's reached a power levels of millions. If he had to pinpoint how high Raz is, he would most likely say that Raz is reached a power level of 50 million, which is actually quite impressive. Of course, Raz explains to Goku and Vegeta that he wants to practically recruit them back to Frieza, since Frieza's been wanting them to practically join them, so you know that they're still alive. Because he can actually see or even detect Vegeta or Goku's power level, so he entire search around the entire galaxy to practically travel in to see if they were alive. Because he wanted to make sure that no other chance was surviving except for Raz, of course, or Nappa. So yeah. Of course, Goku and Vegeta practically will give Raz a slightly cold glance, with them telling that they will never join Frieza. Raz of course sighs and tells that he feared so he has to force them. Of course, Raz tries to punch Vegeta, but Vegeta effortlessly blocks Raz's punch. Raz is in shock and sees the immense power gap between him and Vegeta, but Raz just merges the powers up to Super Saiyan, showing that to brains that he's achieved the legend itself. Of course, Vegeta is unimpressed and tells Raz if that is all he has. Raz gets irritated and then tries to strike Vegeta once again, but instead Goku blocks it. Goku tells his brother that he doesn't want to fight him. He asks him why he wants to recruit them. Eventually, Raz will sigh and eventually power down, explaining to both of them that Frieza has actually been training ever since both of them disappeared. Of course, Vegeta is actually surprised. Frieza knew that he disappeared. Of course, Raz explains to Vegeta that he had to practically tell Vegeta the truth or he would die. Which, of course, kind of reaches Vegeta that Frieza practically forced one of his comrades to practically do that. But he then decides to let go and eventually tells Raz to explain the whole thing. Eventually, Raz will explain that Frieza decided to practically train for a couple of months. He decided to increase his powers so he cannot be surpassed by Goku and Vegeta. Of course, both then just give Raz a serious glance and want to practically hear anything. And of course, Raz tells him everything. The entire Frieza Force trained with Frieza, and Frieza was gained immense power. Even Raz that he has now Super Saiyan and has mastered it, he cannot defeat Frieza. He's not even close. He thought that maybe he would be able to defeat Goku and Vegeta or even give him a challenge, but it seems he cannot even do that the same with them. They're almost the same level as Frieza as Raz thinks about it. Of course, Goku and Vegeta wondering if Frieza has become this strong to match them. Of course, they doubt it, but it could be a possibility. They know from Whis that Frieza most likely has the highest potential of every being in Universe 7. If you guys are wondering, yes, Goku and Vegeta know about Universe 6 and 7, but for other universes, they don't know much, so yeah. Of course, Goku and Vegeta had to practically fight against Frieza, and of course, they both would have used its transmission. If you guys are wondering where Goku and Vegeta would have learned its transmission, to put it simply, we just want both of them to be practically very versatile. So he practically allow them to pick worlds so they can go in, like heaven, hell, or maybe Yardra. So yeah. And of course, Goku and Vegeta first picked Yardra, and eventually Goku decided to pick King Kai's planet, eventually train under King Kai. Of course, King Kai knew about Whis and how powerful he was, so knowing how powerful he truly was actually quite shocking. And of course, King Kai did teach Goku. He did not practically want Goku to some jokes because he knew that if we practically train a mortal, means that this mortal is pretty strong. So he had to practically train Goku using the Kaioken. And Goku learned it. We would also learn about Force Spirit Vision and of course the power of his transmission as well, like Goku did as well. But Goku just learned to and mastered the instant transmission, allowing both of them to practically master it with each other. So they have grown immensely stronger. Of course, Goku and Vegeta then instant instant transmission to where Frieza was located, and he will be located on Namek. Frieza will be around the time when Goku and Vegeta and actually been talking rats. Frieza will be on Namek practically trying to collect the Dragon Balls. But of course, both Goku and Vegeta actually knew that since they were practically informed by Whis in an extra time before Raz arrived. So they knew that Frieza most likely do that while their guards was off. So of course I was actually surprised that they probably want to face Frieza right now and not train. Of course, Goku and Vegeta tell him to just go to Beerus' world, and eventually call Whis, and eventually tell him to take Raz so that he can train and increase his power. Of course, Whis will not, and eventually ask them if they want to join as well, but both of them tell Whis that they will handle Frieza. Of course, Whis nods and wishes them good luck as eventually it strengthens Blood Namek so they can handle their power. Of course, Raz actually struggling confused on what Whis means by strengthening Namek. Of course, Whis explains that Goku and Vegeta's powers are immensely powerful, so he wants to make sure that planet can at least survive the clashes. So of course I was actually stunned to actually hear that Goku and Vegeta might be able to destroy the entire planet just with their clashes alone. So yeah. Of course Goku and Vegeta would then face off against Frieza. Frieza would just smile and tell them to bow down to him, since he's now even grown stronger than ever before. Of course Goku and Vegeta just tell him to knock it off, and tell him that they've grown stronger themselves. So he should not underestimate them, since they are the Saiyans who train under the gods. Of course, Vegeta just gets irritated by their words and charges them using his final form. But of course, Goku was able to block the attack, but he's actually surprised that he was pushed back slightly by Frieza. For it turns out he has been training for at least 10 months, ever since he heard about Goku and Vegeta's disappearing. So he wanted to make sure that he grew strong himself. So he did not just train for 10 months, he trained for 2 years. In these 2 years, he trained as hard as he could with the Frieza Force, and eventually increased the power of the Frieza Force, and every Frieza soldier has grown even stronger than Raditz. Raz is actually the weakest of all of them, and Nappa has actually died in this timeline because Frieza thought that no Saiyan who's much more older than his prime should even live. So he killed Nappa. Of course, hearing this, kind of struck his Vegeta and eventually punches Frieza away, saying that he's gonna pay for that. Vegeta actually has a change of heart as well. Because of training with Whis, Vegeta learned that cherishing life is a really important thing to have. And because of Bulma, he learned that he must cherish the ones who take care of him, like Nappa did. That was kind of like an uncle figure to Vegeta, and so was Bardock. So practically losing both of them was something that triggered Vegeta a lot. The anger that he felt, not because of his race was destroyed by this tyrant, but also because the ones who trained him, his masters, his mentors, were killed by the hands of this bastard. So Vegeta makes sure that he makes Frieza's death slow and painful as possible. So of course Vegeta beats down Frieza, but Frieza has had enough and eventually powers up to his golden form, surprising Goku and Vegeta as his power is immense. Both of them realize that they might not be able to do anything if they're just in their base state. So both of them nod to each other, and eventually, getting a serious look, both of them roared, and with a powerful scream, a blue light is shined as Frieza covers his eyes, struck by the power as he's pushed back, and eventually Goku and Vegeta power up to same blue forms. Both are taking a fighting stance as they tell Frieza that the real battle begins now. Both of them rush against Frieza as Frieza would have fought against both of them, trying to practically take them off his body, but of course Goku and Vegeta were able to easily double team him and eventually use their teamwork together to overpower the Emperor. Of course, the Emperor of the universe will practically get irritated and eventually release more and more of his power, and able to match Goku and Vegeta. Even though Goku and Vegeta have trained with Whis for years right now, they could tell that Frieza was not holding back. He's actually releasing a lot more power than they originally thought. They thought that maybe training with Whis for so long and were able to strengthen them for any opponent that they're able to face, but Frieza has actually proven them wrong. They must train even harder than they have ever trained before. They must grow and pass their limits, and they will do just that. But Goku and Vegeta continue to power Frieza, but eventually Frieza just chuckles, eventually telling them that now it's time for him to use his full power. Of course, Goku and Vegeta are confused with what Frieza means, but eventually Frieza starts to roar, and eventually an armor continues to grow on Frieza's body. Goku and Vegeta are shouting and trying to stop Frieza, but Frieza already screams even further, shaking the universe as he does so. Goku and Vegeta are shocked by the power as Frieza is covered in a golden light, blinding both of them in the sense as they then acquire their eyes to see Frieza in a form that is much more stronger than his golden form. For this reason, he probably decided to take a page of his both father and brother's book. As a past, his limits. To surpass the form, and this was originally their base state. And this is what he calls his fifth golden form. This surprised Goku and Vegeta as a power that this form admits is so much greater than they ever felt before that they cannot even say that Frieza most likely would stand a chance against Beerus, if not even more. They believe that if Frieza was to face them back then, when he only would choose Super Saiyan God, he's able to beat them. And right now, they can feel that maybe right now they cannot even stand a chance against him. With his power gap, it would be difficult to practically surpass it. So Goku continues to battle with Frieza, but this time Frieza was on the winning end, beating down both of the Saiyans as he continued to being down. Of course, Goku tried to fight back, but it was futile as Frieza's durability and speed was so immensely increased that he could not do even a dent. The power gap between them and Frieza was so large that you could say that it was not a challenge to Frieza to handle both of them at the same time. Goku would realize that they would not be able to defeat Frieza as they are now. Believe that they must crush their limits right here and right now. If Vegeta decides to practically do that, as he separates them, as he uses Force Spirit Vision to practically absorb some of Frieza's energy, able to recover himself and Goku, just for enough ki so they can power back up to Super Saiyan Blue. But Vegeta tells Goku that they must surpass their barriers. They must break their limits. Goku agrees, telling Vegeta that they must reach the forms that they are never able to achieve. And he tells Vegeta if he's ready. Vegeta then nods and tells Goku that he's ready. Both of them then roar as the blue aura covers them. Of course, Frieza is confused with what they're doing, but he decides to let them do as they want, because Frieza believes that no matter what they do, he will win nonetheless. Goku and Vegeta continue to roar, their power increasing immensely as they shake the entire universe. Goku and Vegeta roar simultaneously as they increase the power, Vegeta being covered by dark blue light as he roars. Of course, Beerus is able to sense that, and even is actually started supplies as he actually wakes up from his slumber, being surprised by how power that he was able to sense. He even ponders if Vegeta and Goku are trying to break their limits. He just smiles and then goes back to sleep, wishing them both good luck, because the adversary they might be facing will be much more greater than expected. As for Vegeta, he powers up. A dark blue light covers him as he achieves and surpasses the form that he achieved, with Vegeta achieving Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. And Goku follows suit as he roars and shouts Kaioken times 20. With his mighty roar, Goku powers up into Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20. Both Saiyans have now reached their new pinnacle of power. Now they're setting off against the Emperor of the Universe to a final showdown between the two Saiyans and Frieza himself. But that is the end for the sport. We guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Sayonara, my fans. See you next time, everyone.